Hi, it's Doc Christian Flynn, and I have an important message for you today. I want to explain to you a reason why most people don't see the results in their life or the outcomes that they're looking for. And I want to explain to you how you can get the awareness of what this is, what to do about it, and then what to do next. What the results will be when you actually change, and then where to go from there. And I want to make sure you really understand this, so I want to explain this in a little bit of a story. So I live in Ipanema, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and every day I walk along the beach as I go to school. And every day there's this same group of guys out on the beach training. And they have this equipment, it's this big strap around their body. And one of the guys, he'll be running through the sand, he's running as hard as he possibly can. But attached to the strap is a rope. And at the other end of the rope, there's another guy with a strap on, and he's leaning back and he's fighting the resistance. He's fighting, he's going and trying to lean back and bring his weight back to create resistance for the person in front. And even though this person in the front is running as hard as they can, he's barely going anywhere. And I watch this every day. And what it reminds me of is the people in our lives that are holding us back is literally like we have a rope attached to ourselves and attached to them, and their weight is just holding us back. And even though we might be trying everything we possibly can be doing, we barely go anywhere. And these are the relationships. This is how important the relationships are in our life. Because even if we try our all, if we aren't willing to let go of some of these negative relationships in our life, we'll never really get the results. We'll never get to where we want to be, or it'll take decades longer than we had wished. And when we get there, we're exhausted. And so I want you to think about, is there someone in your life, a close relationship in your life, or even distant, that's affecting you? Someone who's putting you down, someone who's doubting your skills, your abilities, or your intellect, your ability to learn, your ability to grow, not supporting you, or even not even challenging you to grow. And that's important as well. You need to be challenged to grow. And there's another way to look at these two people, and that the person in back is challenging them to grow. That they're holding them back a little bit, but so that they can get stronger. And this is actually what you need to realize. That the person that's holding you back, the person that may be doubting you or speaking negatively to you or not believing in you or supporting you, you need the strength to cut that person loose in your life. It's your responsibility to get the results that you want. No one can do it for you. And in fact, if someone did come in and they said, look, these are all the bad things in your life, I'm cutting them all out for you, you didn't have the growth, the strength that was created and built in the process of deciding to cut them out of your life. And so even though they are pulling you back and you're trying so hard, it is making you stronger if you actually cut them out. If you don't cut them out of your life, if you don't take these shears of liberation and cut this rope from behind you, guess what will happen if for a prolonged period of time you're just struggling. That's right. Eventually you'd collapse. You'd sit down. You'd give up. You'd quit. Because it's not worth the amount of effort you're putting in, because you're barely getting any results. And not only is it exhausting and you're not seeing the results, if you start to look to the left and look to the right as you're running as hard as you can, and you see people passing you that might just be walking, Or you see the people that are really trying and they are way ahead of you, and you feel degraded and diminished. And you might start to have all these beliefs of, I'm not good enough, or this is taking too long, or I can't do this, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not capable, I can't learn these skills. All these beliefs start to come up because of the environment, because of what's happening around you. And if only you had the awareness to realize, oh my God, I've been being held back. And maybe it's not a person who's holding you back, maybe it's your habits that are holding you back. Your lack of clarity in your direction, lack of organization, lack of support, or maybe it's your beliefs that are holding you back. And all those things, you need to have the awareness and the strength and the courage to cut them free. And now you might be thinking that, well, what if I have this relationship with someone and I love them and yeah, they're really holding me back and I can't just leave them. I can't just abandon them. Well, do you think you're really helping them if you're playing small? If you're not growing? If you're allowing someone to treat you poorly? Do you think that sets a good example for them? Now, what happens when you cut them loose is they can see what that did for you. So these guys that are training on the beach, they're running and they're trying so hard and they're barely going anywhere. And at some point, the guy in the back, he clicks something and the rope breaks loose and the guy in the front takes off like a bolt of lightning down the beach. He gets this liberation, this all of a sudden this instant freedom, and he's gone. He is so fast. And they would see that happen to you. All of a sudden they would see you excel. And you know what that does is it gives them permission to start changing. When they see that you had this courage, this decision to start cutting the things loose in your life that are holding you back, it gives them the inspiration, the role model, the permission. They feel like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. So maybe they're inspired to start cutting the things out of their life. You know, maybe you're the person, or you know someone, or you've seen in TVs and movies where someone gets dumped and it's the best thing that ever happened to them because it gave them the awareness of where they really were in their life. And they had someone who wanted to keep growing and exceeding, and they weren't doing that. And so they cut them loose, and it made them realize the level that they were at and the amount of output, or the small amount of output they are putting in, that they needed to step their game up. They needed to do more, have more meaning in life, more energy, more action. And it inspired them. It essentially gave them a kick in the ass. And you can be that person for someone else. And you don't have to turn around and curse out the person behind you who's attached to that rope and tell them to get lost and you never want to see them again or anything. You can still love them and support them and appreciate them. But sometimes all you have to do is just let go of that rope that you've been holding on to. Sometimes it's that easy. You don't have to make a big thing about it. You can just be honest with what the situation is, that they're holding you back. They're putting you down. They're not supporting you, whatever it might be. And when that happens, you get that liberation. All of a sudden, you are sprinting down the beach like these guys I see in the morning with nothing holding them back. And now what happens when you are running at the speed that you're capable of? All of a sudden, you're in pace with all the other people who are also running at their full capacity. So now you look left, you look right, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people running with you. And now all of a sudden you have support and you have the environment that's actually propelling you forward. You have the support of no one's holding you back, but they're right on the page. They're on the same page that you're on. And now, if you get a coach, you get a teacher, if you get a mentor or you have a new relationship, someone that's supporting you, they're challenging you to grow, they're inspiring you, now it's like you're the person in back with a rope attached to them, and there's someone in front of you, but you're not leaning back, you're also running forward. So now it's like you have someone attached to you and they're pulling you forward. And now you have less resistance and you can use that strength to go even faster. Because now your strength allows you to be propelled further, quicker. And so I just want you to think about, is there anyone in my life that's holding me back? Is there someone that I see that's doubting me, that's speaking negatively towards me? And you can even just look at how they think. I mean, you can look at how they speak. Not even to you, but just the things they talk about, how they talk about other people, what they're doing with their lives. You'll see pretty quickly where they are at with their beliefs and their ability to support you. You'll see pretty quickly if you just listen and you watch and observe. Really hear what they say to you without maybe the condition that you already have that you're not good enough because you've just been spending so long trying, but someone's been holding you back. And once you get aware of that, you realize it's not me. And that's where most people fail. That's when most people give up because they've had someone or something holding them back and they don't realize it. And so eventually they think it must be me. It must be me that's not capable, that's not strong enough, smart enough, skilled enough, talented enough, whatever it might be that you eventually come to believe. And so you need to wake up and look around, observe your environment. There's so much research, so much experience about environment. You know, there are these quotes, environment stronger than willpower. Show me your 5 closest friends and I can show you where you'll end up in life, or I can show you what your net worth is. You know, there's so much around environment, who you surround yourself with, because you eventually start to become like them and believe the things that they say. And so this goes even beyond, you know, success or results or outcome. It's also happiness. You know, are you around people that complain a lot? People that are the victim mentality and nothing's their fault? If you listen to what they say, they seem to always be blaming something or someone else. If you're around those people a lot, eventually you start to complain a lot too. Eventually you start to attune to their consciousness, and now you're complaining. Now you're a victim. Nothing's your fault. You're bitching all the time and you're not getting anywhere. But if you're around people that are happy and they talk about happy things and what they're grateful for, all of a sudden you're going to be talking about that. You know, if you meet someone and they're always learning and growing and they say to you, what's the last book that you read? And you might go, oh God, I haven't read a book in years. Right? Imagine if you started hanging around people like that. People going, oh, did you know this? Or, oh, I went to this cool seminar and I learned this. Or, oh, I was reading this book and they said this and I applied it to my life and now I'm seeing these results. So I have a few action steps I want to encourage you to take. And the first one is really just to think about who or what is weighing you down. What's holding you back? Is it someone in your life? Is it a habit you haven't kicked? Or is it a belief? What's going on? Start to observe yourself and the people around you. And then the second step is, how can you cut them out of your life, or that thing out of your life, or at least cut down on it? If maybe it's too much for you to cut it out completely, how can you at least just cut it down? You know, start to think about that. You know, if maybe you have friends that you hang out with every weekend and you go to the bar or something like that and you start to realize, oh, that's not really getting me any further. You know, maybe every other weekend you go to the library. That might be a stretch for you, which could be really good for you. Or maybe if you think you'll never do that, maybe call someone, have a conversation with maybe an old friend that you see has gone and excelled and that you could actually connect with, and just ask them questions or get to know them and just start to change your environment a little bit. Or maybe watch something online. You know, there's so many different ways you can just start to cut down on the things that aren't helping you. And the next step is, what can you add in that will increase your value, increase your outcome, increase your speed on the way there? So start to look around and see, what am I tying myself to? You know, or who has maybe tied on to me? And how can I cut that cord? Or how can I at least minimize the weight a little bit? And what can I also attach myself to so that I have something pulling me forward? So ask yourself those three things. I mean, just stop this video, or after it's over, and just start to ask those three things. What's holding me back? How can I let go of it at least a little bit or completely? And what can I add into my life so that I have something pulling me forward? And so I hope that this helps you, and I really want you to feel and realize how incredibly important it is in your life, because these ropes are, we attach them to things, and other people attach them to us as well. And so you could also ask yourself, who's attached to me and I'm pulling them forward? Because most likely, if you have someone who's holding you back, you're pulling them forward as well. And once you cut that, and they realize how much help you were, they realize that they need to start doing more. You know, this has a lot to do with what I was saying earlier, but you just realize that part of your exhaustion is not just because they're holding you back, but because their added weight is you're pulling them forward. And that in itself is also exhausting, and also something that's going to slow you down. So look for all the different ways in your life where maybe no one's actually intentionally holding you back by putting you down or doubting you, but maybe you're just pulling them forward, and that you need to let them go and say you need to find someone else, or you need to do this on your own. You know, so how can you make things easier for yourself? And think about it, the people, the habits, the clarity you have, maybe your nutrition or your exercise or your sleep, the different areas of your life. You know, these are all ropes we're attached to that we need to figure them out. We need to make them as best as we possibly can, because they all affect our speed and the amount of energy we have. And if we're exhausted, we don't have much resilience, and if we don't think that we can keep going, we just quit. So if you have a dream that you really want to achieve, or something you've been thinking about for a long time and you haven't taken that step, start towards it. And it's just, this is a process that's always being refined. Even when you get free from one and you're running full speed and there's people next to you full speed, you still need to refine and think, what's holding me back? What's holding me back? How can I go forward? And as that happens, all of a sudden, you start going forward from the people who were ahead of you before. And if you're not refining and people are attaching to you, maybe you start going back and they start going ahead. So it's just this process. So just always keep asking those three questions. And this process never ends, and it will help you to get closer to where you want to be. It will help you get there, in fact. So ask those three questions right now. Get out some paper, get out some pen, think about it, write it down, and then act. Be responsible and act. Be courageous. Think it through. Try to understand. And if you really can't get it, just contact me. Send me a message. I can help you with this. It's okay. Go out there and do it. Hey, it's Doc Christian. Thank you for watching this video. And if you would do me a favor, please hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel. Also, feel free to leave a comment so we can connect with each other and post any questions you have, because these questions will help me to make better videos that are more personalized for you, because after all, these videos are for you. And lastly, please share this video with anyone you think that might enjoy it or gain some benefit from it or get something out of it. Because you can always be the catalyst for change in someone's life, and you never know what the tipping point for the change will be. So never limit your ability to share. And thank you again for watching this video.